U.S. President Barack Obama Tuesday authorized the release of $60 million in military aid for the strife-torn Central African Republic. Meanwhile, French President Francois Hollande landed in that nation's capital city of Bangui to shore up troop morale following the deaths of two elite French soldiers. He told the troops their work was dangerous but vital. Now for more on the violence in that region, with us on the phone is Ambassador John Hirsch, former U.S. Ambassador to Sierra Leone. He is now with the International Peace Institute. Ambassador Hirsch, thank you so much for taking some time with us. I do appreciate it. You know, we've been reporting recently on the increase in violence there in the CAR, but I think most people are not aware of the history there. Give us just a brief history lesson.
Well, this is a country that's been riven by conflict for decades, and this is not a new situation. It's simply the latest iteration of this. There was a coup about earlier this year. The government that took over really didn't control any of the country, and there's kind of been this confrontation between what are always portrayed as Christian and and Muslim militias. Behind this is actually the presence of certain diamonds and other minerals and various groups that are kind of trying to exploit the region to benefit from those minerals. So that's kind of the very broad picture. This is a very small country, very deep into Africa, very hard for Americans or Europeans to kind of grasp the gravity of this because it's so far away and so remote and so little coverage up to now. Yeah. But this is a major crisis.
Indeed, there's some geopolitical implications here as well. Of course, Hollande has pledged 1,600 French troops to help bring stability to the government. Do you think that's enough?
Well, I think it's an important first step. And I think it will probably be transformed into a broader United Nations peacekeeping operation. I mean, that's up to the Security Council, so it remains to be seen. That's something similar to what has just happened in Mali over the past year, which, as you'll recall, started with a French intervention in the north of that country, backed up in parallel by a United Nations mission in the southern part of the country, supported also by the African Union and the Economic Community of West African States. So I think something similar is likely to happen, an incremental ratcheting up of international military presence.
Ambassador, what would you say are the priorities right now, the top 2 or 3 things that need to happen almost right away?
Well, the most immediate problem is establishing security, stopping all these killings. And it's very regrettable that these 2 French soldiers were killed. And they're all there, the French troops, on a humanitarian mission. But their presence there is really essential right now. So I think security, and then beginning a modicum, a minimum of food, humanitarian relief, clean water, and so on. But this will have to be transformed into a longer-term peacekeeping effort.
What do you think the likelihood of U.S. troops being sent in?
Well, I don't think that's in the cards here, and it's not been requested. And I think the United States is going to be helping by providing some airlift. And I think your program has just announced President Obama offering humanitarian aid. But it's not about sending American troops into Africa.
Well, and speaking not of American troops, but other intervention, the African Union, the AU, is looking for solutions. I understand there's going to be a deployment in December. Has enough attention by the AU been paid to this crisis, or are they playing catch-up?
Well, I think they've paid attention, but the broader point I'd like to make to you and your listeners is that all this was foreseen about 10 or 11 months ago. And but with so many other issues, Mali, Somalia, the Congo, just to mention African cases, Afghanistan, obviously, a country like the Central African Republic has kind of been ignored. So there's an underlying issue of the need to respond more quickly because the the crisis was brewing for this entire calendar year, and kind of people knew about it. So in that sense, it's kind of catch up. But that said, it's really good that finally these troops are going in there.
Yep, and we'll see, as you said, if that's enough for a good first start.
Yeah.
Okay, Ambassador John Hirsch, thank you so much for your time and perspective. We appreciate it.
Very good. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.